This is my party pooping video. Why you can't always do what you love and how to be successful anyway. I hate to be the one to break the truth, but you cannot always do what you love. It is possible to be successful anyway. It's the #1 trend in business, pop psychology, and life. It's discussed at every coffee shop. It echoes through every co-working space. Coaches, consultants, advisors of all kinds consider it gospel. It was also Steve Jobs' #1 piece of business advice, and it's kind of bullshit.
So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up.
You have to be passionate about what you do. If you're trying to run your own business or build your own thing, everyone would like you to know you must have passion. Meanwhile, in case you missed the news, the fetishization of entrepreneurship is literally making people crazy. The prioritization of passion itself is breaking people because you can't always do what you love, and the expectation that you somehow should be is screwing up people's businesses. It's screwing up people's lives. If you learn how to do the sucky stuff, if you learn to lean right into the things you don't want to do, that you don't love to do, you'll be far more successful than the people who use the phrase follow your passion as their mantra. Following passion is a lazy way to stay comfortable and clueless. People tend to be passionate about the things they're good at. Notice how the nerdy kids at school are passionate about computers and math but suck at sports, and vice versa for the sporty kids.
Hey pal, did you get a load of the nerd?
Pardon me?
It's a spiral because kids become increasingly fascinated by the stuff they're good at. Then their passion makes them even better, which is cool because really diving deep into the thing that you're great at when you're a teenager is great when you're a teenager, but you're a grown-up now.
How do you do, fellow kids?
So if you're trying to run a company, if you're trying to build something, you need to have more than one skill set. The fact that you're a great programmer, you really enjoy computers, or whatever it might be, isn't enough. At some point, a point you've passed by now if you're an entrepreneur, you became good enough at your thing. Entrepreneurial success isn't going to come from mastering the last 10% of your craft that's left to learn, right? Going from 90% the best to 100% the best. It's actually gonna come from mixing your skills with other really badass capabilities. Developing those capabilities that are 100% mandatory for success isn't going to feel particularly fun. In fact, you're going to suck at most of the things you and your business needs for success. That's kind of how it works. You're not going to feel passionate about learning them. Sure, you can follow the age-old advice to outsource your weaknesses. That's often given by members of the passion crowd. But remember this, if you've only got 1 or 2 serious talents, you're going to need dozens of staff and partners to round your capabilities out. Most people are stuck in a pretty awkward catch-22. They're not yet successful enough, so they can't afford to guarantee themselves success by hiring people to make up for all their shortcomings. Which is all to say, forget all of this outsource your weaknesses stuff. The closest formula you can get to guaranteed entrepreneurial success is to learn how to do all sorts of things. Learning these skills isn't easy. It isn't even much fun. If it was, everyone would be doing it. That's why only a tiny percentage of entrepreneurs succeed for real and make millions of dollars. School doesn't prepare you for this stuff. Your parents won't prepare you for this stuff. Even if they had, the world is changing so fast that whatever you learned is already redundant. The skills you need to succeed as an entrepreneur are going to be totally alien, especially compared to everything else you've ever learned. And that passion isn't going to come into it at all, right? They're going to be so unfamiliar that you can't be passionate about it because it's such an unknown, at least not in the beginning, which is the hardest part. So the point of this video isn't to list off all of those not so sexy skills because you already know what they are if you're watching this, right? It's the sales, it's the marketing, it's the management stuff, it's the financial acumen to read a P&L, a cash flow statement, a balance sheet, be able to get clear on all this stuff. The only question is how honest you're being with yourself, because deep down, you know you need to be better at sales, marketing, finance, how the hell you manage people, and probably some boring legal stuff as well. And those are just the obvious ones. There's gonna be dozens of other capabilities and other disciplines you need to master depending on what your actual thing is, what your business is. So my advice is don't follow your passion, follow your discomfort. The list of your entrepreneurial shortcomings makes you feel a bit squeamish, right? You might even be afraid of that list. And this fear, it's the antithesis of passion, by the way. It is precisely these uncomfortable things that you must master in order to be successful. Your passion is easy. It's dependable. You don't need to think about it. In a pinch, you can go do the thing that you're passionate about because you're really good at it. But when the shit hits the fan, you can count on that passion skill to be there. Just like riding a bike, it's not going to go away. But when that proverbial shit hits the proverbial fan, it's those less sexy capabilities that will be tested. And it's the behavioral flexibility that'll give you what it takes to survive unexpected adversity, right? An oh shit situation. The how to be successful anyway portion of this video is all about behavioral flexibility, because it's totally unrealistic to expect a life where you can just follow your passion. That may have been possible before this century, right? Perhaps. Before the world started moving at a lightning pace of technological development. But now it's really only a valid option for a trust fund baby who's got millions of dollars in the bank and is essentially playing life on ultra easy mode. And it ain't pretty. You need to learn how to be flexible, because the person with the most flexibility, the entrepreneur with the most flexibility, will survive and will thrive no matter what. Being flexible means figuring out some smart, never before discovered ways to share that passion of yours with the world. Behavioral flexibility means being able to make the gritty and unsexy details happen so that your app or your feature film or your yoga studio or your e-commerce business becomes a reality. And the reality I'm talking about is strangers giving you real money for your goods and services. I have a friend, this guy John Unger. He's an artist and sculptor. He does really well for himself, as in he's an artist who actually makes a really great living, makes real money. A while ago, I was picking his brain for tips on things like merchant accounts and online payment processing. I called him up to ask him about this stuff for my business, because while John is an undisputed master of his craft, his passion for his artwork, his skill, everything that he brings to that passionate mix is absolutely incredible. These fireball products he makes are amazing. He also has incredible, just mad skills that pay bills. In the hours upon hours that this guy John spent figuring out online commerce in the days where hardly anybody was doing this, he was in no way following his passion. He was doing something boring, something uncomfortable, something that was probably quite scary and stressful, to be honest. I have his word that it absolutely sucked. But John mastered that stuff. Because John mastered that stuff and dozens of other really sucky things, in addition to being a really, really badass artist, he now has a huge successful business. Success happened because of months and months spent not following passion. If you want a simple next step, this is it. Go look for the people who have made it by following passions similar to yours. Whatever your thing is, whatever you're into, go and find the people famous for it. Then talk to them or read about them. Whatever it takes to kind of get inside their heads, figure out the stuff they forced themselves to get good at. Figure out what their sweaty, annoying, hard work was. What was the passionless struggle they smashed their actual talent together with in order to make success happen. And then just start doing that yourself. When we combine the thing that we're good at and the thing that we're passionate about with a bunch of other really unsexy but practical skills, that's when really big success happens. That's how it happens. So go do it.